Greetings, friends. Welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And this is me, Oberon, with my weekly show, Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges, which is a weekly tarot, slightly astrologically related forecast for a week that tells you what the emotional ups and downs, challenges, love possibilities, things of that sort could happen to you. So we do that by throwing a number of cards and giving you that interpretation. We divide it up by the zodiac signs into their elemental associations, and we go through it that way. And we always start off with a collective reading for everyone, for the audience, with our Isis Tarot. And the Isis Tarot is more like a regular cartomancy, not exactly a tarot, although it does use images. So we just draw that card at random. Vagueness, number 22, reversed. I'm going to just put that there for the moment. So this is for the week ahead, and keep in mind it is a collective reading. Ruthlessness and misuse of responsibility, unsure and credulous, wasteful, careless and impulsive, uncertain, indecisive, and aimless, knows no reason and does not know what he wants. A 0, self-destructive, foolishness, extravagance, a gambler and speculator, easily influenced. But I have to admit, none of that sounds especially pleasant. It's vagueness reversed, so therefore it's really talking about a lot of more base venal qualities, selfishness or those kind of things there, ruthlessness it says. So I would just suggest that maybe there's some weirdness out there in the air. There's certainly a lot more violence that we're seeing. I can only speak mostly to my own area, but I know that there's more gun assaults, there's more things of that nature. So watch out for that. Try to apply as much compassion and understanding to our problems as you can. So let's get started then. And we start off with the air signs, which are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And there we go. I didn't have that quite set. So there they are, the air signs. And they get their own special focus for themselves for the week. And that is impediment. And impediment says to me that in our emotional realms, we are looking at some obstacles. We are looking at things that stop progress or divert us. So watch out for that. Try to see ahead of that curve, so to speak. And remember that these are usually about people that maybe we have, already somewhat of a challenging emotional situation. So now we're going to get on to the rest of the reading. All right. What emotional happiness will the air signs find this week? It's the reversed 8 of coins. So I think that maybe The air signs find that in some respect they've been freed from certain obligations that denote learning or training that maybe they don't feel is necessary. And when you apply this to the sense of emotions, maybe you could be saying that um, people have been putting up little roadblocks in terms of accessibility. And maybe what we find makes us happy is when we feel these impediments have been removed, that we don't have to go through the structures suggested by the upright Eight of Coins, i.e. some sort of apprenticeship. So whoever heard of an apprenticeship to love, okay, you just learn by doing, right? So I think that's an appreciation of that with the air signs. So then what will be the emotional challenge for the air signs? And we have another coin or disc or pentacle, and it's the reversed Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so I think the challenge here is finding that we're not feeling appreciated, or we're not feeling like we're in our comfort zone to some degree, emotionally speaking. We sort of feel that we have too little or too much. Maybe we feel that we don't have somebody in our life, but we sort of feel we have other conditions in our life that make us, create that sort of sense there. So some of this could just be really about how we choose to appreciate life. And maybe the challenge here is understanding that we have to kind of take it all in as a whole and figure out where the balance, especially to accessibility, goes. Who are we letting into our lives? What do they bring us? What are we prepared to bring to them? So then finally, what is it that challenges those we care about, whether they're our platonic friends or their lovers, spouses, children, other kinds of relatives? What are their feelings or what are their situations this week? And it's the King of Cups reversed, which to me really implies that from that emotional point of view, they're feeling like people should be listening to them more and aren't, and they're feeling like they have something to offer, or maybe they're feeling that they don't and they don't know how to change that. I mean, they're sort of feeling either unappreciated for one or the other, like they don't know how to navigate certain kindnesses or certain senses of being able to speak to people's relationships, to console or just to give opinions. But it's also possible too that maybe they're looking to find ways to sort of remove themselves from that discourse, that they don't really want to be in that, and maybe they have at least a little consideration for how that's going to go, how that will be taken in by people who presumably are their friends. So just to mention again, and so it almost sounds like maybe that's the impediment there, but there are impediments in your emotional life this week. It may be that you're happy because you sort of have managed to avoid certain process that maybe you felt just wasn't appropriate in some way emotionally, like jumping a certain hoop, meeting a certain standard. But your challenge is really figuring out where the balance is, what you need, what you can give, as well as what you get from others. And those around you maybe have some things to understand about how they are helpful to others or how they don't want to be helpful to others, and how they, approach that. So that's what I have for the air signs. So we're going to get on now to the fire signs. And fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This one's for you, so you have a word of the week, a focus. Prescription, to prescribe something, to sort of indicate you wish to have it be, to order something, or to indicate that somebody needs to do this, you know. So from an emotional point of view, this sounds like you're being an advisor, fire signs. You're sort of trying to indicate what is the thing you can do. Oh, look who's here, my little one. Hello there. Are you gonna jump on my lap or just be annoying? So let's get on with the rest of the reading. I hear you rustling wallpaper or something in the background that's not sticking so well. Thank you, Shadow. They can be annoying, but they too are creatures of emotion, you know, especially if you really love your pets, dogs, cats, whatever, and you create a bond with them. They're a part of your emotional landscape too. And I know that my fire sign wife would definitely agree with that. Okay, fire signs, so what is the emotional happiness you find this week? And it's the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is reversed. And I think we're happy because we're letting ourselves get a little crazy. We're sort of letting ourselves take some flights of fancy, getting imaginatively and maybe emotionally a little bit, you know, to that point. We're just sort of, you know, taking it to the top. We're over the top. We're jumping the shark. And, you know, if you're the Queen of Cups, you know, and look at that watery landscape, you can easily jump the shark. So I think we're happy because we can really let loose. We can really go where our imagination and our emotional exuberance will lead us. So then what is the challenge for the fire signs? And there is the Lovers, Major Arcana 6, and it's upright. And the Lovers is our challenge. So this is saying that ultimately we are maybe having this flight of fancy because perhaps we know that at the end of this or at that some point during this, we're making a choice. We're making some sort of commitment. And maybe it's, you know, maybe it's to a relationship, but maybe it's also to that, what that flight of fancy indicates, that we have some different points of our life, you know, that give us great emotional happiness. And some of those we see that we can build something strong there. And the others we just sort of see as enjoyable for their own sake, possibly not building anything or maybe having some slight effect. And so that's our challenge, is to decide where we really want to go with some of that. So definitely see the connection between those two. So then finally, those around us, perhaps even indeed those who may be affected by these ideas, and that could be our friends, our best friends, our lovers, anyone we truly care for emotionally. How are they going to be affected, or what's going on for them? And it's the Eight of Swords, and it's upright. And the Eight of Swords, they feel restricted or limited. And they may feel that, in fact, they too have a decision to make, but they're not willing to totally go there. And I'm believing that wherever this flight of fancy, this sort of idea of enjoying life and not being totally serious, but knowing that there is a path that includes a serious take, is involved right now. And where does that leave others? Maybe that they feel that they perhaps need to play a part of that decision too, but they feel trapped emotionally. Maybe they're not able to really be free in the sense that you are. And so there's something there. So let's wrap that up again. And maybe that's about what the prescribing is that rather than just fire signs saying this is the way it is, prescribing that thing, maybe they have to learn also too that there are some other points of view, even emotionally. We're very happy this week because we just sort of feel we can just really take off with ourselves. But ultimately, we really have to decide what is best for our emotional life and for those that we're connected to, because it may very well be that those decisions we think we're making towards fun and frolic, I mean, it's summer, I get it, beach, etc. But somebody doesn't feel exactly free to make those choices too. So think about that. And that's what I have for the fire signs. So now we are going to move on to the water signs. And water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And so they too have a focus or word of the week, an idea that kind of creates the overall essence for them, or something they should be aware of perhaps. And it's the laborer. And I guess this is saying that in terms of those emotional ups and downs or those emotional directions we may be moving towards, it's going to be work. That things don't happen easily for the water signs at this point, and that we really have to plow the field a little bit, put a little labor into it before that expected harvest or rooting or seeding, begins to happen. So keep that in mind. And now we're going to go on to the rest of our reading. And I know we just read for the fire signs, so I thought I would mention too that Banshee, my partner here at TFT Tarot for Today, does her own program, which is the Banshee's Material Matters, and that's on Sundays at 10 a.m. So do watch that. Don't forget to watch Goth Tarot. And you know what? Before you know it, within this next week, there will be another monthly modality message, because the sun will be moving from Cancer into Leo. So that'll be announced shortly. I have some more announcements coming at the end. All right, water signs. What gives you your emotional happiness? What will make you happy this week? And it's the upright Three of Discs or Pentacles. And I think water signs are feeling very big about themselves, perhaps. Maybe they are feeling like finally at last, from the emotional point at least, somebody sees a true value. Somebody feels that somebody has understood something emotionally relevant to the relationship with that person or that thing. It's not necessarily about love, but maybe there was just some emotional things. It's like finding out something about a really good friend that you never had any idea, something from their past that really kind of made them the person that they are. Maybe it's something like that. But it's about yourself. It's about you thinking that at last somebody sees you in a way that they hadn't before, and that you had actually mastered something. It's really more about that. It's about the admiration kind of thing. So then what is the challenges for the water signs this week? And as always, from the emotional point of view, it's temperance. It's learning the sense of moderation, equality, about really exchanging deeper passions, maybe for something that really is more appropriate to understand or move the energy of a situation forward, being a better team player. I could see that a little bit with the water signs too. So your challenge really is about learning balance, learning to give and take, learning the flow of life. So then finally, to wrap this one up, what is it that may concern those around you, those you care about the most, your parents, your children, other relatives or lovers or friends or co-workers? And it's the Prince of Cups. So in this set, the Ancient Egypt Tarot, the princes are like the knights. And knights are sort of the projection of energy, or the need to be projective, or in some cases protective. And it's reversed. So I feel that because this is about emotions, uh, someone around us maybe is feeling some pain, possibly some dejection. They're maybe feeling like your relationship with them has changed or is not uh, feeling the same way to them anymore, or that their own other relationships are possibly doing that, that there's challenges there, that maybe there's some lessons they have to learn from recent breakups or disputes or disagreements or parting of ways with friends or family. And it does seem like I mentioned earlier in the reading that there's a lot of vehemence in the air. There's a lot of agitation, and I don't know exactly what's causing that. I think we're in between full and new moon. I'm not sure. So I don't know what's causing that, but it just seems like there's a little bit more of a proclivity for people to just sort of move to violence. We don't want that. Let's try not to do that. So water signs, if you recognize these people, try to be calm with them, help them understand, flow, the give and take of life. Um, but I do think that, of course, from the emotional point of view, things are a work, and it is in more than in progress. I mean, there's several steps forward, maybe a step back, that kind of thing. But we are happy because maybe we feel that there's a sense of being valued for what we have done with those we love or care about, the life that we have built, or the kind of things that we bring to the life, the award or the value. Um, and our challenge will just always continue to remain being aware of these things, being aware of this flow, and subscribing to the idea of trying to find balance and apply compassion and understanding to our problems or to our situations that may be, volatile, emotionally speaking. So then finally, that means, of course, that maybe someone around us is feeling, lack in their emotional life. Maybe they're feeling like somebody they loved has left them, maybe they've had a breakup, or maybe there's been a parting of ways. So be responsive to that, perhaps. So that's what I have for the water signs then. And I'm going to move on to the earth signs. Earth signs: Virgo, Taurus. I'm not saying them in order. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so I'm losing my voice a little bit. And so their focus or word of the week is the prodigy. And so that's exciting. I think earth signs will find that maybe there's big moments of inspiration or jumping ahead, especially when it comes emotionally. Like maybe we're just finding that something is resonating that we never thought it could, and it's just opening up in our lives somehow. That it's just a wonderful moment. I don't know, I'm a little vague there, but that's a prodigy seems to be understanding and knowledge at a high level. So from that emotional point of view, maybe there's a breakthrough for people who need to have that breakthrough where they really understand other people's feelings or what is really going on emotionally for them. So let's get on then with the rest of the reading. Okay, so what will make the earth signs emotionally happy? What happiness comes to them this week? And it's the Queen of Wands. And I think that the earth signs are happy because they're feeling particularly very magnetic, very attractive. They're sort of feeling like a lot of things are opening up in terms of social access. And maybe they're feeling really good about where they look in their world, that if they're not necessarily looking for a relationship, it's really more about the warmth of friends, the warmth of a social circle, perhaps. And so I believe that the earth signs really are really just getting off on this, and that maybe it's also really too that we're realizing that people are drawn to us earth signs, that they see some really very wonderful aspects, social aspects, magnetic aspects, uh, possibilities with you because you are exuding these qualities. So then what will challenge you during this week? And oh, that's a bad note there, but remember with the tower, which is what we have, there's always that little kernel of sunlight over the horizon. And so the idea, I think, is that we're challenged because maybe something has changed for us emotionally, and a lesson was involved in that, what we had to understand about, this status quo changing with a relationship of any sort, or about how we understood something emotionally and then realize that's not really true for us, or that there was a lesson there that we had to learn. But the point is that we did learn the lesson, and that we would be able to learn and move forward from, some sort of bad emotional situation, I think. So then the final card is what may concern those around us that we care for, spouses, parents, co-workers, the boss, whatever, friends, the neighbors. And it's the Prince of Swords reversed. And like I said before, the princes are knights, and so they're sort of about energy, projection of energy, or uh, things like that. And so as a reversed Knight of Swords, I think that in terms of certain emotional relationships or situations, someone around us is maybe making mistakes because they're moving too fast. Maybe we know somebody who's younger, perhaps, and they're trying to move quickly into relationship, and there's some aggressive aspects here. If it's not about a relationship, it could just be too that, to me, this is a sign maybe we should watch some of our younger adults who maybe are hanging around with people who have, some edgier ideas about things that we as parents might not appreciate. So I am thinking, I'm getting that vibe a little bit. I'm not saying like this is like your kid comes home and says that they're in a gang and they're going to, riot downtown. But I'm just saying, eyes open. So wrapping that up, I think that we are understanding things deeply in some way, especially the emotional matters. That's why we have the prodigy there. And that maybe that makes us very happy, because I guess we realize this depth of ourselves in terms of our ability to bring people together. But we are challenged because perhaps we have felt some emotional pain recently, earth signs, and we've understood that maybe we possibly overplayed our hand, but we've learned from that. And now, of course, we just need to watch out maybe for the others around us who are being even more impulsive than we might have been, and maybe making, certain mistakes in their emotional lives, or certain decisions related to that. So I don't especially think that the earth signs have it really great this week, but there's always next week. And speaking of that, I want to remind everybody that we are going to have later today at 5 p.m. once again the TFT happy hour, our pop-up live stream for 1 hour, where we will read positive cards from our good tarot or some other oracles we have to give you a positive message for the day. So show up at 5 p.m. later on today, and you will see the happy hour. It's TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. So thanks for watching. See you next time.